For this exercise, we're going to use more sophisticated navigation techniques by introducing dead reckoning. Dead reckoning relies on the simple principle that if you fly in the right direction for the right amount of time, you will arrive in the right place. In order for the timings to work correctly, we will decide upon a cruising speed which we will need to fly accurately, which is why we introduced speed holding in the previous tutorial. At the moment we are following the northern coastline of Cornwall in the UK's southwest, just past Newquay. Keep following the coast towards the small airfield of Perranporth at 3,000 feet. During pre-flight planning, we will have produced a nav log, which lists each waypoint of our route and the headings to fly between them. Using a cruising speed of 100 knots, we've worked out how many minutes each leg of our route will take, which will help us to know when we should be getting close to our next turning point. Remember that these timings will only be useful if we actually fly the speed we have planned, so maintain 100 knots precisely. Along with an accurate speed, our heading keeping must also be accurate. For each leg we will have specific headings to fly, which must be flown as precisely as possible in order to keep us to our planned route. Once we reach Perranporth, we'll begin the first leg of our route by turning to heading 205, which we will fly for 4 minutes, taking us to the town of Redruth. We're just reaching overhead Perranporth, our starting point, so turn us on to heading 205. Alright, now we're on our way. Note the time, and in 4 minutes from now, we should arrive at Redruth, our next turning point. The importance of accurate heading keeping becomes greater with longer leg distances. If you fly 1 degree off from your planned heading, after 60 nautical miles, you'll be 1 mile off course. This is known as the 1 in 60 rule. A heading is our direction in degrees magnetic, as is displayed on our compass and heading indicator, and is the direction the nose is pointing. Keep us on heading 205. point we're aiming for is a junction on a main road, the A30, which passes just to the north of Redruth. As the town is an area feature, we can see Redruth already, but we will only become visual with our point feature junction as we get nearer. I can just pick out the junction now, and the time is reaching 4 minutes. In person, you can lean and move your head around in order to keep a waypoint in sight. Here we can use the external camera if you wish. Our next leg is towards St. Anthony Head, which is heading 130 for 5 minutes. So make a left turn now onto heading 130. Now that we've completed our turn, make a note of the time. This leg is for 5 minutes. Timekeeping can be done in a number of ways, such as checking the aircraft clock and adding 5 minutes for an arrival time, or running a stopwatch. We can see St. Anthony Head already, as it is at the tip of the distinctive thin strip of headland just beyond the town of Falmouth. At each turning point, we check a few items to ensure that we remain organised and keep track of some important things. One method is to use the 5 T's: turn, time, tune, temp, tank. The first item is turn. Ensure a correct and accurate turn to the heading of your next leg. This is followed by time. Start timing the leg, whether using a stopwatch or other method. Next you tune, meaning set any radio frequencies and transponder codes needed. Also to ensure that the heading indicator is still aligned with the magnetic compass. Temp is for engine temperatures and pressures, or T's and P's, checking they are all indicating in their normal ranges. Finally, tank. How much fuel remains, and do you need to start using another fuel tank to keep the aircraft balanced? We'll use the 5 T's at our next turning point. can now clearly see our turning point. When we reach it, we'll be looking for heading 050 for 6 minutes. We have arrived at the turning point, so first we turn to our next heading, which is heading 050. Now start the time for 6 minutes, which will take us to Msfs, our next turning point. We are remaining outside of controlled airspace, so we don't need to tune any radio frequencies or change our score. Engine temps all look good and in the green, plenty of fuel in the tank and still balanced. Get into the habit of using the 5 Ts at every turning point. In Msfs, we'll aim for the harbour. We're getting close to Msfs now, and we can pick out the harbour. Next leg will be a short leg to the Eden project on heading 014 for 3 minutes. Please keep us at 3,000 feet. Turn. Make a left turn onto heading 014. Time. This leg will be for 3 minutes. Tune. This leg is also clear of airspace. Temps. Engine parameters are in the green. Tank. Fuel level looking good. The Eden project is located at the base of an old quarry, which might make it harder to see until we're getting close. You will identify it with the large biome domes, which house an indoor rainforest. Here you can pick out the huge biome domes of the Eden project, which opened in 2001 and is focused on promoting sustainability and environmental awareness. The larger dome contains the world's largest indoor rainforest, with the second dome simulating Mediterranean conditions. This leg will take us to Colliford Lake, the largest lake in Cornwall, which serves as a reservoir. Turn, heading 036. Time 6 minutes. Tune not required. Temp and tanks are looking good. Keep heading 036 please. Lakes work well as a mixture between area and point features. Taking up a wide area, they are visible from afar, especially when the lighting conditions cause the sky to be brightly reflected by the water. Lakes also usually have sharply defined edges and features such as spillways, piers, or small islands, making for useful point features as we get nearer. Keep heading 036 please. We can see the lake up ahead. Aim for the dam wall, which is on the southern edge of the lake. great job. This is an advancement on the stepping stones technique, as now we can steer towards waypoints which are small or too far to see due to distance or visibility. Adding the time element also provides us with an indication of progress, as now we can tell when we are nearing the waypoint and what time we can expect to arrive. So far we've looked at navigating in still air, where there is no significant wind. But wind adds a new dimension that needs to be accounted for, which we'll look at next.